Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Captain Special, and this is our third leg of this trip. This is going to be the fun one. So we just picked up some parts. I think we have a spare engine for an aircraft on the ground at Lake Tahoe Airport. So up north by the lake, high elevation, and we're going to fly that spare engine in, and so they can get repaired and get out of there, and then we'll head back to Albuquerque afterwards. But towards the end of the day, sun's about to set, so you might have a night arrival into Lake Tahoe, but should be a fun flight. The plane is already loaded, it's fueled. Just got to get the AP you want to get going. Take a look at, before we get in, I'm going to go through the OFP. So again, ship 104, same airplane. 1 hour 7 minutes en route. Taking off 944 feet, landing at 5,900 feet. Palm 1 departure. Flight 300. Got winds out of the northwest again, so we've bound a little bit of crosswind. I say plus 11. Go 9,000 pounds out back, so not too heavy. We're not loaded up like we were in the previous run, so we should be able to get out of here pretty quick, and then we'll be light going out of Tahoe, so we should have good climb performance there. Fueling 10,331 for takeoff shouldn't be a problem. Go check the weather. So weather in Ontario still winds out of the west 7 knots, 8 statute mile visibility, clear. And then the weather at Tahoe right now, pretty much the same winds from the north, 10 mile visibility, clear, a little bit cooler. Although it looks like we have 0900, so this will be a little later in the day. But half statute mile visibility and freezing fog broken 200. So sky's clear right now. Should be for the next few hours. So we'll get there nice and clear. But we end up departing tomorrow morning because this is the last flight of the day. Then it's going to be pretty tight. On a sim note, I found out that I was actually not on the latest version of the 146. I had run Skunkcrafts a couple times, and for some reason it kept saying I was on the latest, but I was actually not. I had to individually go check for the update and then load the update. So that should hopefully fix the HSI bug I was having. I also copied over some more textures to fix the bug in here where it wasn't showing any textures on the cabin wall. Looks like it also fixed some stuff like the HSI flags and a bunch of instrument flags are now showing up, and the textures just look a little bit better. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I think not being on that update was probably causing some issues. So let's go ahead, get aboard, get the APU fired up, and we'll get on our way. See if we can make it there while there's still some light. Okay, coming in again. This is one thing. I know it's only a $45 airplane, but these textures could be a little better. Even if this wasn't modeled, even just a better texture here. Like this is like X-Plane 9 level textures. These seats and the fire extinguisher. This is not an area that needs a super lot of detail, but these super low res textures just really bring it down a notch. So we're gonna pretend they're not there. The airplane's all loaded up, so we're gonna pull the stairs in. I don't think you can do from back here. I think the door you can close, but I don't think the stairs is a click spot. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see one. I'm trying to do this like the Challenger. I just flew the Challenger last night. Yeah, these textures, like this texture is much better. These windowsill textures are much better. So I don't know what they did, but it looks a whole lot better. I was not impressed with the textures at first, and I thought that's just how it was in the cockpit. But these are actually pretty good. The cockpit is fine. It's just that little cabin, the cabin area right there, um, galley and stuff, and the false wall for the combi. It's just not great. So anyway, let's get a move on. So ship's library, flight manuals are all on board. Emergency equipment is checked and secure, so we got our fire extinguisher, our torching goggles, escape ropes. Everything is stowed properly. Landing gear lever is down. Radar is standby. Transponder is standby. Air brake is in. Flaps are up. Battery 1, battery 2 are on. Flight deck emergency lights on and arm. And then we get our master switches on. Anti-skid and lift spoilers coming on. Bus ties and standby generator. And we don't see anything there, and we'll go to standby inverter. And that should be... There you go, light goes off. Alright, generators 1 and 4 in the off reset position. Protect our fire handles. 2, 3, and 4 in our fire warning test. Here's our APU. And our extinguishers, we have our light on at the APU as well. Smoke. Master caution and warning, we have the master warning panel. And then we'll get our APU on, so we're going to turn left inner pump on. APU gen will come on. And then we'll start the APU. Yeah, if you remember, these flags on the engine instruments weren't showing up. All the flags here. So it looks like it was a pretty meaningful update. Okay, there you go. We got power to the airplane now. There you go. Voltage current. Good. So we have chocks on the airplane. So brakes are applied. Turn the DC pump on. Set the parking brake. And we should have about 3,000 psi in there. Good. And gear indicator, 3 greens. Master warning system. Checks out. And let's go to our overhead annunciators for our ground tests. So do zones A and B. And we're looking at the air supply panel. I can't move my mouse. Looking at the air supply panel. Stall ident and speed warning. So the stall ident is going to come on these red lights over here. We see 1. We see 2. And a speed warning. And we'll do our stall warning. Do anti-skid fault. And we see the light. Green, no fault. Rear bay high temp. Again, see the light coming on. And flap safety. no fault in flap control. There we go. And green. Yeah, flat fault light. Ground pressurization. Yeah, it still should light up when we press it, but doesn't. But it's not lit now. Okay, let's get our lights on. So entry lights not required. No smoking can come on. Cabin emergency lights can come on. We'll turn the logo light on just in case it starts to get dark. Nav lights to low intensity. Flight deck emergency lights are already armed. And we'll turn the seatbelt sign on. The APU's been on for more than a minute, so we turn APU air on. We'll turn pack 1 on in the recirc fan, get the flight deck temperature. I'll keep that right in the middle there. Alright, DC pump's been tested, so look at the AC pump. Turn the AC pump on. And the PTU on. And then we'll run our trims through. Hear that AC pump kicking on and off, and we'll set that back right in the middle. Alright, AC pump and PTU come off. Alright, engine air. They're all going to come on. Bear shield. We haven't really gone through our departure yet, so let's pause there and let's review our departure and NOTAMs. So let me actually first get connected to VATSIM. Okay, we're not getting any no automated clearance. So come look at our routes. We're on the Pomona 1. It's going to be a shafter transition. So let's get the ATIS radios on. We're going to come to pilot, make sure we have the X-plane ATIS available. And our ATIS is 124.25. Alright, so we depart in 26 left. It's a little bit shorter taxi, still 10,200 feet. That's plenty of runway. So let's get our altimeters in here, 29901. 1, 2, and reset. And let's go back to our departure. The 26 left bite, we climb heading 258. Now we have a working heading bug. And 258. To intercept and proceed the Pomona radial 114 Pomona VOR, cross Pomona VOR at or below 7,000. So we'll dial in 7,000 there. The Pomona VOR is going to be 110.4. And it's going to be the 114 radial. which is going to be the reciprocal So we'll track that to the station, and then that'll flip us over to a 294. Yeah, 294. So I'm just gonna put in 294 track from the station because that's gonna be a quick flip. Okay, 294. We're in split nav. DME's in standby, and then VHF2. I guess we'll just throw in shafter right now. We don't really need anything. 1154. And we'll turn our flight directors on. So we most likely coming out 26 will not be at 7,000 by Pomona, but then Buck we got to cross that 14,000. So let's see, 27 shaft tradition. Minimum flight 309 feet per nautical mile, 8,600. So we're doing a ground speed of 200 knots. That's 1,030 feet per minute. So we do have some terrain here. We got 1,500. And then still looking at 7,000. So we got about 14,000 at Buck. Should be able to maintain that. We'll do an NADP2 so that way we can get the flaps up sooner. Above 800 feet AGL, we'll just accelerate, and then we will climb at our en route climb speed. Okay. Flood enunciators tested. Flight instruments. Test those flags. Temperature 930 feet. That is correct. Great altimeter will turn. Reset that. Clock is reset. We have our departure heading and course selected. Standby altimeter set. Warning. We have pressurization. So we are going to be at 30,000 feet. So we set this to 28. Baro set. Everything is in auto. Trims are set. We'll just throw in 2,000 for our transponder. Brake temp. Give it a test. And turn that on. Control disconnect handles are in. The yaw dampers 1 and 2 can come on. And then passenger oxygen come on. Go this way. Yeah, these textures are so much more crisp. Yeah. Our test. And our CVR test. Okay, and we'll test the crew call. So pushing back, we do have to push back onto the taxiway. So we're just going to push right onto the taxiway here. Let me just make sure it's way, yeah, it's way 26. That's where we want to go. Okay. So we have the brakes on, pull the chocks, steers and door are loaded. I think we're about ready to go. Let's run through the pre-flight checklist while the tow comes up. So interior and exterior checks are complete. First officer did the walk around, no issues were found. The flight director and transponder are set. Turn that to, they're not set. Enter. Okay, lights and notices. Start turning on some cabin lighting. We already tested those. Air conditioning, so we have pack 1 on right now. Flight deck temperature control is auto. And the flight deck fan is off, cabin fan is off. We have recirc fan is on. Pressurization is set to 28,000, cruise out to 30,000, that's our highest limit, and we're set to auto. Ice detector, come on. Let's figure out our takeoff thrust. So this will be bleed air off, anti-ice off. Altitude, we're at 1,000 feet, and the OAT is 20 degrees. Nice, run the chart, and that's 92.9. So we can go all the way up to 60 degree at 87.7. It's a 4 degree difference, 6.4. So 92.9 minus 6.4 is going to give us 84.5. Do that right? 92.9 minus 6.4 equals. Sorry, 86.5. So I said 86.5. So I'll turn power on to the thrust modulation system. We'll run through the test. Also launch New Sky to make sure it actually tracks us for the flight. Alright, test is complete. So let's hit takeoff. And we're going to go 60. So it says 87.7. We say 86.5. That's as low as it'll go. So 87.7. Alright, we'll keep it 87.7. That is the, yeah, that's the 60 degree limit. And our climb will do a target of a TGT of 840. All right, fuel content. So we're looking at 2,500 kilograms. We got 55. Got about 10,800. We're supposed to have 10,831, 10,331 for takeoff, and then we will go Okay, fuel panel transfer to auto, feeds are shut, standby pumps are all off. Right, left inert is open for the APU. Briefing and MSA check is complete. Brakes, park pressure's on. Nav aids are set. And we already got that. And altimeter's 299.123 set. Documentation's complete. We've got our load sheet, master warning system's checked and on, speeds are set and cross-checked. Flaps 18 R is going to be 113, 122, flat protraction 162, and then en route climb be 172. Okay. We gotta wait for the tug. Here's our tug. Alright, seatbelts are fastened, doors and windows closed and locked. Arm doors.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross-check.
We got two mechanics flying jump seat with us, so they'll make sure those doors are armed. Okay, hydraulics. Engine pumps, DC pump, AC pump, and PTU are off. Beacon can come on. Packs and APU air, packs off, and APU air is off. Engine anti-ice is on. All the fuel pumps are going to come on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
So ground
traffic United 1748, short final runway 26 right, Ontario.
Ground ignition, and we'll turn our start master on. And wait for him to call us pushback. I think he said he's coming to 26 right.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Please concentrate.
Okay, let's just call Ontario traffic Gullwing 952 pushing out onto Foxtrot out of the West Cargo Parking, Ontario.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Well, start them up. Relatively short taxi, so we're just going to start all four. So we'll start with number 1. Okay, start master is on, start power is available. Hit starter. And we have N2 rotation. And 10% fuel on. I do it manually. I didn't switch over my honeycomb. One second. They're watching that. Make sure you have a good start load. Okay. Activate. Alright, we good start on 1.
Ontario traffic
Starting
United
2.
1748, vacated Brahma 26 right. We'll be taxiing to the ramp via Kilo Golf, Ontario.
N2 rotation and 10%, and there we go. Light off TGT's coming up. There's that United that just landed. Alright, starting 3. N2. And 10%, fuel's on.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Alright, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, 3. And then lastly, 4. And fuel's on. A little late bleed through here.
Tow is disconnected. Your bypass stick has been removed.
Looks like we got a good start on all the engines. Start master can come off. Ignition selector off. Ground ignition back to both. And engine bleed air come off. Get generators online. So generator 1 looks good. Come on. Generator 4. That looks good. That one come on. Turn our brake fans to auto. All our heaters on. APU air can come back on. And we'll get both packs on. Recirc fan can come off. And then we'll get hydraulic. Engine pump 2. Engine pump 3. Alright, all our lights come out. And then we'll turn the AC pump to auto and P2 on. Okay, let's get a little bit more light in here. He does. Hey, alerts can go to dim. Flight annunciators can be dim. TMS is okay. Let's just get all our lights set up before we start moving. Glare shield, there we go. Okay. Ready to taxi. Ontario traffic, Gullwing 952, taxi to 26 left via Foxtrot, Sierra, Ontario. And lights to taxi, brakes are off, clear ahead. Go get laps 18. Let's just head better T10s. And do roll check full aft, full left. And you have spoilers, full left, full forwards, full right, full forward, full right, full aft, and spoilers, and back to neutral. Config check, okay. Speed set. Stop altitude 7,000 feet is set. Altimeter is 29901, and we have our initial heading course selected. Nav aids, let's go identify HF1. That is the Pomona VOR. Alright, briefing. 10,000 foot runway, below 80 knots. Any master caution or warning, we will stop on the runway, exit the Fable, and deal with the problem. Above 80 knots, we are only stopping for fire, failure of an engine, fear that the aircraft won't fly, or wind shear. Any questions? If we have the engine out, we're going to fly the engine out. We'll fly straight out. We're not going to attempt to climb up over the mountains, and we'll get vectors back to the airport. We do have an MSA of 7,000. That's to the north. So we'll head out over the water. We do have Los Angeles International there. So we're going to have to talk to control to make sure we're not interfering with their path. They'll probably end up sending us north up over Burbank. But we don't want to just head towards the mountains and be climbing on 3 engines. Questions? Maybe we turn DME on now. Get the weather radar to standby. Test. Brake here, slow down a little bit. Okay, Vorture on the runway. Seat for takeoff transponder is TARA. Lights and strobes. Strobes on. Runway extension lights on. No turn landing lights on. Once we make the turn, so we don't blind anyone on final. Ontario traffic going 952, departing runway 26 left to the north, Ontario. I don't see anyone on final. Nice long runway here. Okay. Landing lights on. And ready to go. Where's hold on. TMS not set. Where's our? There we go. See.
DMS set takeoff.
Why don't I see 3 blue lights? Hold on, stop it on the runway. There we go. There we go. Engine number 4 was that honeycomb issue where the throttle gets bound. It won't move unless you manually drive it. So alright, TMS lights off.
80 knots cross-checked. B1, rotate. B2. Positive rate decline, gear up.
And we're just flying this heading until we get on the Pomona VOR. We'll be 2 plus 10. We're looking for 1,800 feet. There's 1,800, so we're gonna start bringing the nose down. We'll go to climb power. TGT.
The FTO, safe flight speed.
And flaps up. And nose down. Hold its trimmer right there. You have to take off, gears up, flaps are up. TMS is TGT. Actually, we're gonna go N1 sync. We're gonna go keep it 88% N1 for now. Okay, here's our turn. Coming up altitude restriction. So we're over Pomona, so we can ignore that and go right up to cruise now. And hold that turn 50 knots. Pitch. Okay. Goes coming back in. You know, just keep following the flight director. Man, it's so nice when the heading bug actually works. Yeah, this feels a lot better. The HSI was all over the place before. Okay, we're above 10,000, so we can start accelerating. We'll let the nose drop a little bit. We're releasing that heading bug. We're gonna hold pitch mode, get the autopilot on. And we're gonna track the VOR, and we're gonna hold that pitch while we accelerate to 270 knots. Sorry, bud. We're gonna close cockpit door because it is way too loud. Alright, let's get engine air. It's coming on. APU air is coming off. Packs are on. APU itself. Turn off. And then ETU and AC pump can come off. Landing lights can come off and logo light. Nav, go to high intensity. Strobes are on. Beacons on. Logo light can come off. Okay, I'm gonna hide the yoke here so I can actually see the HSI. Oh shit, what is it? Alright, so Buck is going to be at 20 DME. Let's sync our heading bug. We're going to be about 14,000. We've got another 8 miles to go. So we'll make that easily. And then we should be all set. Got emergency lights on, emergency lights armed. And brake fan select on, that's okay. Alright, pulling up the Navigraph, you can see we're almost to Buck. We're above 14,000, so we're at the crossing restriction. And from here, we also are going to switch to the Gorman VOR. See the changeover point here. So Shafter is technically our next waypoint, but Gorman on 16.1 technically have to be tracking that. So we're going to turn off the VOR localizer. We're going to swap over, let it track it, so we don't get a large bank. It's going to be on 293 heading, and then start tracking again. And we're good. So we're going to track that to 25.3 DME, and then we'll be on Shafter, which is 115.4, and that'll be on a 317 course. So let's turn your instruments on so we can see what's going on over here. So this is going to be our turnout back to the Shafter VOR. Okay, we're climbing about 265, 270, which is exactly where we want to be, so we're just going to keep pulling that pitch. Above 18. Switch standard. One click up. Oh, there's definitely some improvements under the hood. Like, a lot of stuff just feels better. The tracking of the nav aids is a lot smoother. It was really rough before. I felt like as soon as you were even close to the cone of confusion, it was just impossible to track the VOR. much worse so than it is in real life. So I'm glad they improved that. Cockpit textures look much better. So overall, I'm happy I got the update. I feel bad for making support run around asking them all these questions why everything was broken, but I seem to have done a pretty good job. Make sure you get alt arm there.
You go check the fix the air on it. Good. No, I think that's still busted.
Goes down. And it goes up 94.6. So, no, that's why. About 92% N1. We're just about to make our turn to Shafter. Lock or switch. 217. Start tracking that turn outbound. You can also identify it. Go. So we're going to hold this airspeed until about Mach 0.65, and then we'll just hold constant Mach. Super heading bug. Okay, and then from Shafter, direct to Penny. So Penny is going to be on the 340 radial. So we already got Shafter in there. At 49 miles. Go over also start dialing in some information about our approach. So here's Lake Tahoe. ATIS is 1180. Start listening when it comes alive. So checking out our arrivals here. This is saying winds 280 at, oh, just change auto calm wind since that's amount of visibility. So let's see, let's pull up some of the charts. Identity altitude, expect wind shear. There are no straight instrument approaches to this runway. This is an RNAV GPS. Alright, 20 is a preferred calm wind runway, so. So what instrument approaches do we have here? We have only RNAVs. Well, that's not good. We cannot fly any of those approaches, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make a visual approach at night in mountainous terrain, which is very dangerous. $1,000 to go. We're going to hold this Mach. TGT. Let's accelerate. So now what do we do? We gotta fire a dispatcher. 16.7 miles shafter. So, well, this was bad planning on our part. Should have accepted airport with no approaches and with a non-GPS equipped airplane, but we can divert to Lake Tahoe, Kilo Tango Victor Lima, which is South Lake Tahoe. They do have an LDA approach. And I think this is what we're going to have to do. So, change our route here. It's calm wind, so we're going to be landing south. That's the only LDA approach. Add that to route. And over the Palisades, so this would be okay. So let's hide this for a moment. Still gotta get to Penny. Coming up 7 DME. So we'll just hold our attitude. Slowing down, let's keep the thrust up. And then we'll put in our course 340. Alright, we're gonna cause confusion. And it's starting to flop, there it goes. And start turning heading. And alarm. VOR. Okay. Alright, we got 79 miles till Penny. And 151 will be direct to the, what was it, the Palisades VOR. That'll be our descent. Palisades 113.2. Let's see if we can identify it. Nah, still, I think we're still too far away. Alright, but let's discuss this approach. So we're going to start our descent after we hit Penny. At Palisades VOR, so we do have terrain all the way up through here. Here is a published hold. MEA is 12,400. So we'll aim to be at 12.4 by here, and then Kings, we hold at 12,400. Then at UCOV we're at 10,200, Fabric 9,500, and we'll just descend ourselves down until 4 miles. And clacking and slacking. It is offset LDA. And Mr. Approach climbing right turn to 11,000 on heading 329 and inbound on the Palisades VOR. So Missed Approach, it's kind of like Aspen. Missed Approach point is 4 miles from the runway. So if you get too close and you decide that's too late, you cannot do a missed approach there. So this 4 miles, we are committed to landing. MDA is 7,160 feet, which is 901. We actually be able to use our radar altimeter. Looking 910, perfect. Say 79 miles to Penny. We're at 31.6. So I think what we'll have to do is, because we can land at our ultimate destination, we have to do a VFR flight just across Lake Tahoe. That'll be pretty fun. So in the morning, come out of here, over here, and then we'll head back home. Oh, good. But Sean, come out of Lake Tahoe South, head over to Truckee, and then head back home. Anything on the radar? We didn't get anything. This is not the new updated radar. Supposedly someone on the forums got it to work. I've not tried it. So when we start tracking Palisades, it's gonna be a direct 2. So what we'll do is just set the course knob until CDI centers, and then we'll track whatever course that is. There's not a specific course we're supposed to follow to Palisades. also check the NOTAMs. See today. Runway 18. Oh, the Pappies are unserviceable. That's not super helpful. Teaming required. Reduction. It's only a 3.03 degree descent angle. I've got 19 miles to go for Penny. About 5 miles away, so we're gonna flip-flop. We still haven't identified this yet, have we? So that's not great, because now we don't know where we're going. Oh, it's a 330 course. The best we can do is go on 330 heading until we pick it up. And I don't see any other, no more VORs along our route that we could even track. Should be 151 miles. Our ground speed was last 370. So let's do some math here. So we got say it's about 146 divided by 370. Minutes. That's not right. Minutes. We're still a little far out to start our descent. So we do about 90 miles, and also until we can actually pick up the VOR. So still pick up Shafter. So track our course by 100 miles from Shafter. Turn to override, supposed to be able to pick it up for 400 miles, but I'm not getting anything. This is a high altitude VOR. So I don't know if this uses lib radio or this is just the stock exploit behavior. I thought with lib radio it would give me static if I couldn't receive the signal. So we're just getting vectored from ATC. You know, there's no ATC on right now. So at 90 miles we'll start our descent. Still have ground speed, fortunately, from DME2 over here. So what we can also do is go down the hold. So the hold would track our DME to the old station, even though the CDI would be tracking the new station. But I think that's also a good way to confuse yourself and not realize where you're going. 90 miles divided by 375. 124 times 60. 14.4 minutes. And we gotta descend 15,000. 17,000 feet. So about 1,100 feet per minute. So 90 miles, we're gonna start at 1,100 feet per minute descent, and it should get us right to 12, right above 12.4 at the Palisades VOR. So it looks like we're doing fine on fuel. Not concerned there. Start getting our pressurization data set. So landing field elevation is, what do we say? 6,200. Okay. Deep approach not required. So briefing, we've already looked at the chart, look at it one more time. ASOS 124,725. Start listening for that. CTAP's 12285. Not approach course 171, so we won't be able to set that in until we're at drag. Actually, no, we can't. Still pick up this Palisades VOR, and we just hit 90 miles. So I'm going to wind this down. We're going to go vertical speed mode, and then what we're going to do is start pulling the power back. We're going to hold the pitch sync. We're going to let the nose drop a little bit. So we get that nice 1,100 foot per minute descent. get that speed up. There we go. So it's 80 miles. It must just default to that's the range. I want to see if I can liberate of this flames. Yeah, it's identified. Come on. Looks like it's actually tracking now. So we captured it, and if I turn that off, that's it. Alright, we're now actually tracking the VOR. Really shallow descent going. We'll keep our speed up. We want to slow down too much. Floodlights down. Bug our landing speeds. Flaps 33 is going to be rear F 106. So we're in 116. VRF plus 10, we're going to pull the air brake when we're about 200 feet above the threshold. Turns 3026. AOS says. That's what the AOS says. Alright, so when we come in here, we're going to need to track this outbound on 059. So we're going to set this nav2 to 059. And we're going to make sure we're on 112. This will be our first outbound turn. And then after that turn, we're going to set up for the actual LDA, which is 108.9. So this will tell us when to turn. What we're going to do is we'll start the turn using VHF2, but we'll actually track it with VHF1. We got 16.2 miles until we hit King's intersection. We're going to have to make a sharp turn there. So before we get there, we're going to again be switching over to 108.9 on the 171 heading. Track that at VHF2, and then once we make the turn, we'll also swap to VHF1. So we're not going to use the split, or we're going to keep it split. We're not going to rotate nav2 or nav1. The only time we will do that is in the event of a missed approach. We get this 4 miles and we're unstable, or any other reason we have to make the missed approach. Then what we will do is we will keep nav2 as Palisades. We'll just turn to the 329 heading, and then we'll set the Palisades radio 113.2 on VHF2. Actually, we'll set that on VHF1. So we should be able to stay on VHF1. I think that'll work. We'll just flip flop because it gives us a heading first. We do have to stay over the water. There's 9,310 foot mountains to the right, so that turn is going to be tight. We got to make sure we stay over the water, which I don't know if I'll have any visual indication if we actually do that. Miles to go. Steven that descent up just a little bit. Below 15,000, we're gonna start doing our approach checks. Ten miles. Localizer. Go heading mode. Miles from the station, we're gonna start to get cone of confusion. Let's turn at 059. Arm. We do have a runway right in front of us. Okay. Look, let's track that. Approach checklist, alternatives Q and H, set, cross check, 1, 2, 3, AC pump and PTU. Auto, fuel panel set, cabin secure, APU, computer is off. We're going to start the APU. And we're going to start slowing down a lot. Let's get back to 250 knots, pull the air brake out. Anyway, we're 16.4 DME, and then let's get the LDA 189. Yeah, it's going to 171. And air brake's coming in. AP gen is on, AP power is available. let's keep decelerating. We gotta be fully configured by Fabic. We're almost a breath. So breath, I guess. I think we're gonna start wanting to make our turn. Heading. We're gonna flip flop. Alright, altitude armed. 171. Get this back to 113.2. Localizer and start our turn. So now we can go down to 10.2. Pull that thrust way back. We're a little high. Get that nose down. Down that looks 18.5, so we have to 12.4 to get down to 10.2. Alright, APU air, come on. Engineer, come on. Alright, I think we got the runway in sight. Maybe we're just flying through the localizer. What's going on? Here we go. Okay, actually 11 at 10.2. Let's keep slowing down.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
Flaps 18. Okay, 12.4, we can go down 9,500. Go down a little bit. Over speed. Still accelerating. You're looking for 9.5. That'll be our final approach fix.
Speed checked below 185. Select flaps 33.
Okay, 9 miles. 8,800. And that also 7.4.
Autopilot disconnected.
Alright, my airplane. It's fully configured. Alright, 4 miles is our missed approach point. We're at 7. We have the runway in sight. Gear down. BA. Let's get our landing lights on. Tahoe traffic, Gullwing 952. We're on 5-mile final runway 18 Tahoe. Do 5.3. APUs, available air engineers off, no steering, PA, brakes, gear, and altimeter set. Alright, Mr. Approach Point passed. We are committed to landing. So now we can circle. See the runway threshold.
Minimums.
Continue. Okay, TMS is coming off. A little fast. On profile.
400.
Start slowing down to our approach speed.
$300.
Okay.
$200.
Okay. And air brakes coming out.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Ground idle.
Right.
Yellow and green spoilers.
That was a nice touchdown. Perfect.
Brake pressures seen. 80 knots. $60 knots.
Alright, well. Wasn't our initial destination. But let's roll on down to the end of the runway here. Apparently missed the high-speed turn off. And Tahoe traffic going 952 clear of all runways Tahoe. Localizer deviation, what? Yeah, stable approach, you are brutal. Alright, after landing, transponders on, lift spoiler, air brakes in, flaps 0, strobes come off. Get our lights. Back to taxi. Runway turn off lights come off. Discharge valve be opened. Engine anti-ice ignition is not required. Beaming hold comes off. Steer approach comes off. Radar and terrain display comes off. APU generator is on. So that means engine 1 and 4 generators come offline, and then engines 1 and 4 get shut down. Well, finally had a nice, good touchdown, center line in the touchdown zone. Approach was pretty good. We were a little bit high, but I don't think we didn't violate any minimums on the step downs. I think overall it was a good flight. Have to knock the planning department for not picking an airport that had an acceptable approach for our type of airplane. But that's what you get when you have a fly-by-night operator like Gullwing Logistics. And I didn't even check. They didn't even sell Jet A here? We'll be able to refuel and get back out? That's okay, we only go on the track here, so you'll probably make it with the amount of fuel you have. Yeah, it's below the ramp. And we're not going to the passenger terminal. We'll head over to whatever this building is over here. There's a bunch of like GA parking over here. So that looks great for us. Oh, we're just gonna come in, we're gonna do a little $180 here. We're gonna stop around this line. Okay. Parking brake set. Gearing shut down, so hydraulics. PTU comes off, AC pump comes off, engine pumps come off. And engine shut down.
Cabin
Sign the
crew,
dorms.
doors to manual and cross-check.
By cabin crewman guy in the back. If I turn the strobes off. Off nav lights, you can go to low intensity. Fuel pumps. Engine anti-ice, we'll turn that on for the next guy. And transponder can come off. Get packs off. View air off. Seatbelt sign is off. Like that, emergency lights are off. Emergency lights off. And then APU gen off, reset. APU's coming off. And then batteries off. Alright, well, that's all she wrote. It's pitch black out here. Let's get the door and stairs down. Let's do a little replay of the landing. And I want to do a replay of the takeoff. It's kind of tough to see now. Here we go. Okay, there comes the air brake. Goes right in. Beautiful, look at that touchdown. Got our lift spoilers up. And just gentle on the brakes. There's the high speed. I could have slammed on the brakes and got there, but I don't want to do that. Alright, let's try something. Let's try takeoff. That doesn't sound good. Oh, here we go. Okay. It's getting ready. Taxiing. Alright, I'll block this departure. We're sorting out the number 4 thrust lever wasn't moving because of we don't manually click it with the Bravo, it doesn't move. There we go. That's what I figured out. Alright, I'm going to do more of those takeoff replays when we have actually better takeoffs to do. But, alright, that's all she wrote for tonight, so thanks for watching. If you like it, I'll keep making them, try and make them better, a little better each time. So, like and subscribe. Thanks. See ya.